Hi, in this episode we're going to have a look at some mouse tricks to make your work in Excel faster. I'll start off by saying there's quite a lot of tricks to show in this episode, so we'll whiz through them. The first one's to do with the ribbon, and what you can see here is there's the normal 2010 ribbon, the Excel 2010 ribbon, and what I'd like to do is not show it. Now watch this. If I double click the Home tab, it disappears, moves out of the way, and I can get it back again by double clicking. In fact, if I double click any of these tabs like this, it will hide the menu, and you can in fact also do it by this arrow on the right. So that's handy if you want more real estate space on the screen. A double click to remove that. Another thing that's handy is to use a mouse scroll wheel to move through these different menus. So instead of having to click through, say, to page layout and then back to home, I could scroll down to page layout using the scroll wheel and then scroll back up using the scroll wheel. Now let's have a look at some worksheet mouse tricks when you're working with some worksheet tabs. So let's go have a look down here. I've called this sheet name 1, sheet name 2, sheet name 3, sheet name 4 and sheet name 5 and so on. What you can do if you want to rename these is actually double click. So double click to select and rename. Let's call it Fruit Sales 1, which is very handy. Instead of having to right click and saying rename, you can just double click. So let's do Fruit Sales 2. And now let me show you something else. I've got quite a few worksheets here, so you can see I'll scroll through them using these arrows. You can go to the first one and to the last one and scroll through them. Another way to do that is to right click on these arrows and you'll be presented with a list of names, which is handy to jump from one to the other. If you wanted to jump to Fruit Sales 1, you can do that. Now the last trick I'll show you with these worksheet mouse tricks is how to select multiple tabs in one go. So let's say I want to select the first 5 tabs here. I can select the first one, hold down the Shift key and click on the 5th one. So it's selected all 5 with one click. Now if I wanted to select, say, sheet 1, sheet 3 and sheet 5, I could select sheet 1, hold down the control key, press on sheet 3, hold down the control key and click on sheet 5. And let me show you why that might be handy. Let's have a look up here. So this is sheet name 1. If I look at sheet 2, it just says sheet name 2 and shift. If I look at sheet 3, it says sheet name 3. Now if I wanted to say change the formatting on all of these 3 sheets, what I'll do is go down here, select the first sheet, hold down Shift and select the 3rd sheet. I'll come back up here. Let's say I just change it all to yellow background. So I'll select that, yellow background, and what you'll see is if I deselect that sheet and I select sheet 1 again, that's changed sheet 1, it's also changed sheet 2 and it's changed sheet 3, but it's not changed any of the other sheets. So selecting multiple sheets allows you to do, you can reformat the sheets or you can change the contents on them, or you can fill in multiple formulas all in one go without having to do them one at a time on each sheet. So that's a handy trick too. Okay, now I'm going to play around with a double click trick to get our Format Painter sticking. So you know you can use the Format Painter. We've got this little icon here on the home ribbon. If you click it once, it remembers the format of one cell and you can apply it to another cell. So let's try that again and again. You see what I did. I had to select that and apply the Format Painter 3 separate times. Instead of doing it 3 separate times though, I could make it sticky. So let's double click Format Painter. Now watch when I click on cold, it remembers, it sticks, and I click on cold again, it sticks, and in fact anywhere I click and however many times I click, it's going to be stuck on the Format Painter, so you don't have to keep reapplying the Format Painter. And to get out of it, you press escape. Let's undo all those. I'll show you a nice trick though you can do with this. Instead of just selecting one cell, you can select a multiple range. So let's select that and double click the Format Painter. If I click on cold, you see it selected the whole lot and formatted it. Now let's press escape, and I'll do the same here. Double click Format Painter, and on the hot, and press escape to cancel. Right, now we check out a trick that helps you when you edit long formulas. In this cell, cell N3, I've got a whole paragraph of information. Imagine it's a really long formula that does not fit on one line, but instead wraps around the formula bar so you cannot see the whole formula unless you expand the. Well, what you can do is over here, there's some arrows. You can scroll through the whole paragraph, or you can actually click down here and it will expand or collapse the formula bar. Another trick you could do is to double click this and it will expand automatically, or you can drag up and down. So that's different ways you can actually use to read a long formula. Now let's see what happens if I want to select just the first sentence. I could click on just before here, and let's select this sentence first. I'll go all the way to the end while holding down the left mouse button and dragging. And you see that's all right. It takes a bit of precision though. You want to be able to select just up to the full stop or the period. Now if you want to do it easier, there's a way to do that. If you double click and then drag, it selects whole words, so it's much easier to select just say that sentence. Or if I want to select this sentence, I double click and then drag it down to the end, and then I can copy just that sentence. Okay, now let me just come out of that cell and reset the formula bar. Now let's check out some fill handle tricks. You see this cell here that says good? If I move the position of my mouse to there, you'll see it changes to a black crosshair. I can then drag down and fill all these bad cells with good ones. Or I could right click and drag down and fill just the formatting. Now this is quite useful because you can autofill some series. If I drag down, it shows January through to December, just starting off with January and February. And another way to do that is to select these two and double click this fill handle, and it will fill all the way down till when it finds the last cell on the left. And here if I do days, I've got Monday, January 2nd, Tuesday, January 3rd. If I fill down, you'll see it fills out all the days sequentially down to this last cell. And I could, in fact, if I don't want the weekends, I could go into these fill options and say fill weekdays, and it would just fill Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, etc. And one more thing I'll show you is right clicking on this and dragging down. So when I release, you see the 1, 2 and 4. I'd like to make it into a growth trend, so I click growth trend, and there we are, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, etc. It doubles every single row. Another thing you could do is fill to the right, and this I think is new in Excel 2010, might be wrong, but you can fill all the way to the right. Let's say fill the series, and you can do this sequentially as well with these growth trend. Let's do growth trend there. And finally you can also fill across a formula. So here I've got equals S9 plus T9, and I can just left click drag that across to there, and it fills, which shows the Fibonacci sequence of numbers. Right, now we get on to the last set of mouse tricks, and I think the most powerful in day-to-day usage. So working with cell ranges. What I could do is, you might have seen this, if you press F2 and I've got a formula, it shows in highlights which cells are involved in the formula. So I've got these two. What I can do is reshape them. I can actually change the size and move them around, and when I press enter it will change the formula, update it. Now another thing you can do is, this is a bit fun, double click the cell border and it will take you all the way to the furthest reach of the table. So if I wanted to get to the bottom of this table, I could click on that cell, double click on the bottom, or if I wanted to go to the right hand side, I could double click to the right. Some people find that useful, others not so. And if you want a good use case for it, you might want to select, say, these rows and then select all the way to the right, in which case you can hold the shift key and double click. That's a nice handy way to do it. The shift key also can be used if you select one cell and you want to go all the way to the bottom of the table, hold shift and left click. That will select everywhere from the first cell to the last cell, which is handy if you want to select, say, a big range in a large table. Now you can also select using the control key. So if I wanted to say select coconuts only, I could select that row, hold the control key and then select another row, keep holding the control key and select that third row. Now if I copy with control C, I can paste with control V and you'll see it's just selected those 3 rows, which is quite handy if you want to selectively copy and paste. Now I'll show you another nice little trick. If you look at this, the commission percentage, that's a formula which is a VLOOKUP on E2 and another table off to the right of the screen. If I wanted to, say, convert all these formulas into values, I can select them and then move to the right. You see your crosshair, right click, move to the right, drag to the right, drag to the left, let go, and then it gives me options, and I want to copy here as values only. Watch what happens to the formulas. They've all converted to values, which is very handy if you want a fixed set of values. And now the last trick I'll show you is also a nice handy trick. What if I wanted to say move this column commission percentage, I want to move it just after kilograms sold. Now I'll show you what you do is you look to the right of this selection and you get the mouse cursor changed into these crosshairs. You click and drag. Now that if you just let go there, it would move it. What you want to do is insert it, so you press the shift key and it will change. You'll see there's a little grayed out vertical line. I want it to be just there. If I let go, you'll see the columns switch around. So see the commissions moved after kilograms sold, and I can do that again. Left click on the border, press the shift key and then look for the grayed out vertical line. I want to put it there, so I let go of the mouse button and there it's moved back. So it's a very handy way if you want to, say, switch the order of rows or columns. You can just use the shift key while dragging the border. So I hope you've liked those tricks. If you want to check out some more, come over to my website and hope you have fun. Try them out today. Cool. Alright, I'll see you soon. Bye.